With this, we're ready for our next talk. And for this one, I'd like to bring on Nandit to tell you all about tokenizing the data economy. So please give Nandit from Lighthouse a big round of applause.
Cool. So, hey everyone, my name is Nandit and I'm the founder of Lighthouse. Just before we start, we'd love to give an overview about what Lighthouse is. So, at Lighthouse, we're building permanent decentralized storage and we offer IPFS and Filecoin as the underneath infrastructure. And my journey into Lighthouse was even like you guys, I was one of the global hackers. And then after a few years, now I got the opportunity to be like mentor and judge at a couple of events, and now glad to be speaking at this Pragma event as well. So before we jump to the main topic of tokenizing the data economy, I'll share about what we are actually solving at Lighthouse. So yeah, there are a couple of things which some of which that Sarah also touched in her talk. The first one is high storage cost, that storing important data, be it AI, NFT, and even blockchain history per se, long term is expensive and most importantly, hard to verify. The second thing is the lack of security. Most of the decentralized network right now, they are all public, so they don't allow you to store private data or build token gated apps. So what that like hinders users is just imagine that if you want to store your AI data, your private data, it's like a big hassle to you to, okay, how do you store your data on a public network, especially like those big AI data sets and open source like Llama models, etc. And third thing is the fragmentation. When we started building in the ecosystem, we realized that for developers, all the SDKs are quite fragmented, that I have to go to one SDK for storage, another one for maybe encryption, maybe a third one for verifying and setting up my own CD and retrieval things. So these were the problems that we saw while we started building Lighthouse. And how Lighthouse solves this is, first of all, we have this concept of permanent storage, that you can pay once and store your data long term or forever. I'll explain more in a while in upcoming slides. Second, we have this access control where you can tie up any data to on-chain logic, be it by NFT ownership, by token ownership, by time-based access control, etc. And then we have one unified Lighthouse SDK, which allows you to do all of that and avoid any fragmentation during your development journey. And for that, we have like this web app and CLI SDK as the popular tools, which is trusted by right now thousands of developers to build apps and startups as well. So talking about the permanent storage part first, we have this concept of endowment pool. So what essentially happens is, using the power of smart contracts, what Lighthouse is able to do is, when you store your data, you pay an upfront fee to our smart contract. And over a period of time, the smart contract releases funds to the miners. These miners are primarily like Filecoin miners, but it makes sure that you don't need to worry about data replication, data renewal, or any of the data headaches that come with decentralized networks. Second thing is, all our contracts for endowment pool, they're deployed on Filecoin virtual machines. So with that, using things like XLRs, Squid Router, folks are able to build cross-chain apps with other ecosystems as well, primarily around DeFi, where these endowment pool of funds, they are actively connected to things like Aave, things like Glyph for the staking part of the piece, where your data which is stored for the upfront payment, it keeps on growing with the yield that it generates via DeFi apps as well. The second most important part of our stack is encryption and access control. So we use something called as BLS threshold cryptography. What it essentially does is, when you store your private data, um, like every file gets their unique encryption key, and that encryption key is splitted across different Lighthouse nodes. And next time, when you have to come and retrieve your data back, you just give a signature from your wallet. And that signature could authenticate your NFT ownership, your token ownership. It could be a custom on-chain logic, or it could be even a time-based access per se. And then when you give your signature, like the Lighthouse nodes, they receive that signatures, and individually on their end, they verify that does this user have access to the file that they are claiming to be. And if they have access to the file, those Lighthouse nodes share the key shards that they have And all of those key shards are aggregated and decrypted on the client's end so that the authorized user could have access to the file. Let's say it could be if I want to have some data to be accessed by only Pudgy Penguin holders or people who have 1,000 Uniswap tokens on Unichains, those kind of logics can easily be created. So we've been fortunate enough to work with some of the top AI NFT projects out there. One of which I would like to highlight is Eternal AI. So Eternal AI is, for example, what they do is it's an open platform where anyone can run open source models, be it Llama model, Quen, other models, and their agents are live on Ethereum, but all the data of those agentic models, but also the core foundational models, which could be Llama, all of that is being served from Lighthouse right now. And what that allows us to do is, with Eternal AI and their mobile app, anyone can access all of these models uncensored. Like, although no political opinion, but I was very much worried with the recent India-US, whatever the things were happening. Then I was like, okay, what if Trump tomorrow says that, okay, we are cutting access to OpenAI to India. So already we have open models, but if there's a way to serve them in a more verifiable open way using Eternal AI, I was now not much worried that, okay, even if OpenAI goes away, we have Eternal AI to read, serve all of these models and have chat interfaces easily to run all the AI apps and agentic things I wanted to do. And some of the other applications to highlight are Ocean Protocol, SingularityNet, who have integrated Lighthouse to store data across their data marketplaces. In terms of NFTs, we have NFT.Storage. They not just have Lighthouse as the storage backend, but now they have an on-chain endowment pool that anyone who is storing NFTs using the NFT storage interface through their latest product, all of that funds is going to a NFT storage pool, and which is like kind of like a public good, where other NFT collections, some top marketplaces, OpenSea, etc., they can easily contribute for the long-term storage of the NFTs. And some other like apps like OK Contract, Alexandria, they are also doing some cool, like Alexandria is preserving all the important archives and books on top of Lighthouse, which is quite cool. Um, and then coming to the DePIN as well, we have some very cool products being built. Like WebHash is one of those products which now have 10,000 websites deployed and connected to the ENS domain. So they now also serve, I think, SNS, which is the Solana naming service, and some other naming services as well. But more than 10,000 websites are daily indexed and retrieved through Lighthouse on WebHash platform. And Aether and StackOS, they have also integrated Lighthouse to access Filecoin storage easily using the stack. And um, all of these things that I'm talking about, they are in production. Hundreds of these apps are using Lighthouse already. And right now we have around 30 TB of data that's being stored across miners and more than 7 million unique data objects, which itself have like further like tens of thousands of objects per this data object that I'm talking about. But I think while building Lighthouse, another thing that we realized that while Lighthouse solves a lot of problems around data storage and encryption, the data problem in the overall ecosystem on how do you get the data, where the data lies, who controls the data, was still not solved. For example, at the moment as well, most of the data is siloed and under monetized. Most of the consumer apps, enterprise apps, they control all the data. And maybe they want to use decentralized storage. Maybe they don't want to use decentralized storage. But consumers are on the behest of all of these consumer apps or enterprise apps, be it Spotify, Uber, or whatever that we are using on a daily basis, that we have to go to these social platforms to view and access the data. Parallelly, what we saw was, like from last 6 months, as we were working with Eternal AI, Singularity Net, and bunch of other AI apps, that, yeah, AI data hunger is real. Like all these models which are running on our phone, like Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. They are like very hungry for data. Interestingly, most of them have already eaten all the public data that is out there. Like everyone has read, I think all these AI models have read YouTube. They have like scraped the shit out of Reddit and other platforms as well. So where does the next data opportunity lies? So probably that data opportunity lies in not the public data out there, but where the private data is being stored, which is like in our consumer apps, in the enterprise applications. And the other part of the picture is synthetic data, like not just AI consumes the data that humans produce, but using human input, now AI wants to consume the data which AI itself is producing. So that's why we see that Web3 technology and like our evolution from Lighthouse fits really well into this picture on not just storing and encrypting the data, but how do we feed this AI data hunger demand, especially around the private data and synthetic data that these foundational models are very hungry for right now. And using that insights, and another insight that we had at Lighthouse was we increasingly saw that people want to not just store data, but also retrieve the data on a very frequent basis. That was very evident from our bandwidth cost going up and a lot of retrieval requests, like tens of millions of retrieval requests that we have been getting at Lighthouse across NFT, AI, and DePIN platforms. And using that insight, we built this platform called as 1MB.io. MB is like everyone knows the unit of storage, which is megabyte. So 1MB.io is your gateway to not just store and encrypt data on Lighthouse, but also to monetize, manage, and move your data in the age of AI. So what 1MB essentially is now using Lighthouse, you can not just store and encrypt data, but you can tokenize and monetize the data that you are storing underneath. So the basic flow would look like that you, as a developer, you build an application like a front end, could be a mobile app. You integrate our SDK, and you upload and encrypt data to Lighthouse, or you enable a subset of users, like which is like your application users, to upload data. Once they upload data, they could mint these data coins or data tokens, whatever the term you would like to call it, and then you can easily trade them in the marketplace. So essentially, 1MB is a platform where you can not just create these data coins, but also curate the data coins and also monetize the data coins as well. Um, Primarily, how do we verify that who to give mint who to mint data coins to can be done through technologies like ZKTLS. So at Lighthouse, we have a way on, if you use ZKTLS to bring in real world data, we can verify those ZKTLS proofs for you. So you can imagine an application, maybe something like Uber kind of application, where you get 10,000 users in next 3 days to connect to your web app front end. Use ZKTLS to enable them to import data to your app, export from Uber, and then we let you verify that data using ZKTLS, that you know that the data which is coming from Uber is correct. And then these users can easily mint the data coins. And the inherent demand of the data coins could come from monetizing it further to these AI models as well. So right now, we are still building that part where you can like easily have a playground on, okay, how do you fetch this data and monetize the data? But for the hackathon, what we are proposing to users is to create these data coins and data DAOs application where you connect it to real world data, verify using ZKTLS, monetize from day zero, and let it trade in the open marketplace. And for that, we already deployed it mainnet on Ethereum, Polygon, Base, and Worldchain, because we saw like those are some of the hackathon other participants bounties out there. So how does the current platform architecture for this 1MB looks like? At the bottom layer, we have the perpetual storage backend, and also the encryption access control that I talked about. And in the middle layer is this data coin discovery and data coin launchpad, which is 1MB.io. And on top of that, we foresee hundreds of data coins which can be created in various domains. Like it could be users giving their AI data, still privacy preserving, that you need not give your full information using ZKTLS. It could be NFTs, like we already have NFT.Storage with their endowment pool live, so we can foresee that NFT.Storage could potentially have their own coin where anyone who wants to fetch that data, they could potentially pay in that NFT coins and then easily retrieve and stream the data as well. And DePIN networks, I think they have already proven that like they are the economies where people connect hardware into these DePIN networks. Generally, they have to buy the hardware, but then whatever the verification mechanism is, like in case of Hive Mapper, Helium, etc., people contribute their mapping data, their IoT data, their maybe wireless kinetic data, whatever that could be. So there's already deep in proving the way that, yes, if we enable crypto rails to allow people to curate data, maybe in deep in that is because of the hardware, but we see this data coin platform can enable more ways for people to create data coins and also potentially monetize them and bring real data from day zero from your hackathon project launch itself. And already we are seeing like data overall, the AI's data hunger growing a lot. Like if you see most of the big deals, like with this OpenAI and Wall Street Journal, like $250 million deal that they had last year, that is like over and over proving again that data hunger is real, and the data monetization market is already growing like more than 40–50% per annum. It's expected to be like tens of billions of dollars by 2030. And as you can see in these graphs like Hive Mapper and Helium, they are able to very easily curate with their hardware mechanism, verify, and then allow further marketplace where that data can be sold to enterprise clients. But now with this platform, 1MB.io, it becomes like a one-stop platform where not just existing deep in data could be accessed, but developers could create new data coins with things like ZKTLS, etc. And about the hackathon itself, we had like some of these ideas posted along with Filecoin in the bounties, where I think Uber as a ride-sharing DAO could be one interesting idea. Like, can we have 10,000 users to not share maybe their emails, preserve that on a privacy preserving manner, but then share all their 30-day ride history every month and earn some UBX tokens. And some people would argue that, okay, why would these companies allow that? Again, I'm not like a big fan of regulations, but like, for example, Article 20 of GDPR does say that consumers have the right to data portability, that anyone who wants to port the data from one controller to another, they have the right to easily port data. And you know, most of these companies, they are allowing nowadays, even Facebook allows you to export, delete whatever data that you want. So you can create easy to use web apps where you can bring real data from day one for these data coins using ZKTLS. Like Zomato could be another example, very famous in India, where can I have, let's say, maybe Gurgaon, Sector 33, 10,000 people to contribute their data and potentially like monetize it in the future as well. Or like some other applications are also possible here. Cool, awesome, thank you.